Hi there, Catherine Mattice. I am the conference chair this year for the International Association on Workplace Bullying and Harassment. If you can believe it, people who love that topic and want to know more about it and how to solve it, we gather together somewhere in the world every couple of years. This year it's San Diego, California, top vacation spot in the world. I have Allison West here with me, and Allison and I go way back. We met on the conference circuit, as they say. We both coach leaders and individuals who engage in, we'll say, poor behavior. We'll use a big term, but we approach it very differently. So we've always had great conversations, and I'm happy to have a conversation with you today. Allison, how's it going?
Oh, great. I am so happy to be here. And it's true. We do go way back talking about the early days of how we approach bullying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about what you do. You're a practitioner in this world. So what types of work are you doing?
So just by background, so I am an employment lawyer by background, and I was, I'm a recovering defense attorney, as we like to say. So I practiced and then realized that wasn't for me. But for over 20 years, I've had a practice where I focus on doing training. So I'm explaining this because this ties into like what I bring to the coaching. So I'm a trainer. I'm the one who does the live harassment training, no PowerPoint. I'm an expert witness. So I testify at trial regarding standard HR practices, right? And I try to tell people, you want to take care of things because you don't want me on the other side talking about what you didn't do, right? Like what you should have done. And coaching is such a great way to be preventive, proactive, and try to change behavior. I'm also an investigator. So I investigate harassment, discrimination, retaliation claims. I spent 4 years on the board of the Association of Workplace Investigators, write articles and speak about it. And so that helps me as well. Sometimes you have to scare people just a little bit as to what, if they don't fix the behavior, what it might look like, not in a threatening way, but to say this is what could happen.
Yeah.
So, and I do, like you, I do a lot of public speaking on these topics as well. So, what I do is it kind of, if I can look back historically, when I started back in 2000, I know it's hard to believe, right, saying it that long ago, 2000, it was really in reaction to employment lawyers saying, we did an investigation, some bad actors or bad behavior, inappropriate. What do we do with these folks? Because not bad enough to fire, or they're so vital to the organization. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like raising my hand. I'm like, I can coach them, right? Read a few articles, boom, like all the things you would never encourage people to do, but being a lawyer, right? I understand from risk. And so I would start, and, as it morphed over the years, I realized you can't train, you can't coach executives without bringing in leadership qualities and issues. And so that's really become, it's both coaching to help them rectify the inappropriate behavior and not do it again, to help them understand from a legal perspective, but also what does it mean to be a leader when you do these behaviors? What does it do to culture? So it's morphed, and that's become great fun. And then actually probably 40% is I also do, executive coaching at times, but there's usually, because there's a communication or other significant issue.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool about this conference is we all come together. You've got this variety of backgrounds, from being an employment law attorney to an investigator to a coach. I don't know many people that do all of those things. And, I'm a coach, and I do culture consulting, and just there's academics, there's such a variety. So it's just really neat to be able to hear how other people are approaching these topics.
Can I just add?
Sure.
Just because as a coach, I think people expect us to do this all the time. Mm-hmm. You're so bad, or you need to improve, right? Like that. And it's like, I partner, like we are their partner. And so that's why I'm so excited about the conference, to learn about the academic piece, because maybe there's ways I can weave in some statistics to say, look, statistically, it's not going to look good if you don't pay attention, right? I mean, or whatever it is. So it is fun to hear and see other perspectives on how they approach being a coach.
Which is why we're friends, because we approach coaching very differently.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm curious, what kind of clients do you usually get in front of you? Are they executives? Are they CEOs? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, typically all levels. I was mentioning to you, it was just so strange. Like the beginning of the year, I had like 15 new clients in like, 6 weeks. It was just crazy. And I would say 85% all in the C-suite or senior VP and above, right? Whatever their other title was. So these are executives, at such high levels, but have engaged in behavior. So I'll give an example. One of them, and these are people, once I got to know them, like delightful, wonderful, right? You often think of like, you do a behavior like this, you got to be like, under a rug or under a sewer somewhere. And so they're at a trade show, picture like Las Vegas, big trade show at McCormick Place. And one of the people in the booth is wearing a t-shirt that says badass developer. Okay, right. She's proud of what she does. She's an engineer. So senior VP goes up, touches her shirt, right, presses on her breast, badass developer.
Oh,
right. And all you can do in the moment is go, like, what were you thinking? Like, what? Like, I mean, so I get people who do that, who know in the moment it was a joke, not a joke, right, remorseful, not knowing what to do. And employers say them, because one of the things that I ask, Catherine, when I get hired, I ask a couple key questions. I'm like, is this person worth saving? And there are times people are like, good question, click, right? I'm like, because it's really not fun to coach people that you think like, well, we just want to fire them anyway. They're not worth it. They're a poor performer. Because I'm like, I'd love to take your money, but let's focus on what we can bring to the table. Now, there's times you can help people turn around, but I love to be able to say to my clients, they believe in you. They believe that you can do this, right? Again, it's not wagging the finger, but it's like, they believe in you, but this is the hard work we need to do together to get there, right? So, it's transparent. So I have all different levels. I don't really do employees once in a while. It's not my favorite thing. I'd rather, focus on, leaders, but I'll get new managers who don't know better.
They haven't figured out that managing is easier if you're nice to people versus.
Well, that, and also like, hi, I want to be your friend. I'm like, forget friend. Or they don't focus, they want to be nice. And I'm like, it's not about being nice. Nice means you care how they think about you. It's about being kind. Yeah. Right. Kind versus nice. So it's when you can help people and you see that aha moment, then you're like, my work here is done.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, so I've given presentations at the conference, that we're having here in September in San Diego. Buy your ticket, on my coaching method. And I've talked about what you were saying, where I'm on their side. And that's what I tell them. I'm here to help you. I'm your ally. Yes, the employer's paying the bill, but I'm here to help you, and do also really enjoy these individuals. And that makes us who coach individuals engaging in this type of behavior kind of the outlier, because there's so much villainization of them online. And even, I would say, sorry, academics in the academic research. And so we know that they're not horrible, awful people. They've lost their way, I think, and they've been getting their needs met by acting this way. And it's finally coming to a head. So
that's right. Although some are terrible people. I have coached a few that it was repugnant to me, like what they had done, no remorse. I mean, so, you get those every so often, but usually like the guy I mentioned, he was, took to immediately doing work, getting a therapist. I mean, like like that's what you want to see, like in these kind of situations. So, back to your question. So a lot of referrals from investigators, right? Because they finish the investigation, they will just, if the client asks, that they'll refer to me. So lawyers, HR, or people find my website and what I write up, what I've written, they're like, because I talk about, you have this great performer, but they've engaged in risky behavior. They're like, did you know our person? I'm like, if they were really poor performer, you wouldn't call me. Right. Like, and that's what I tell them too. Like, I coach people who are really high level performers. Yeah. Which is lovely as well.
Yeah. Agreed. What are you most looking forward to in coming to the conference, other than being able to hear from the academic side and get that perspective?
Well, also hearing from practitioners, right? I really want to know, how other people do things. There's someone in our investigator group. She does coaching in a very different style. She's not a lawyer. So I'm always interested in, a lot of people use DISC, they do stuff. I don't do any of that. Like I have just I often will do the fact finding, not an investigation, to gather information. I find 360s overall a total waste of my time, because it'll be like, needs to be nicer. Okay, like because you can't change behavior unless you have facts, unless you have examples to be able to highlight. You can't say to someone, you make people feel really uncomfortable when you tell jokes. Well, what kind of jokes? I'm not really sure of the jokes, but you need to stop them. Like it's just, I lose credibility, so
Yeah. And
I'm always open.
That's one of the ways we differ, because I use 360s. I don't use any sort of app or software, though. It's an interview, much like an investigative interview, but not about the facts. It's about the perceptions of their behavior.
But you're doing it though.
Yes.
Right. So when they just do like the regular 360 internally and have people.
Not good.
And I'm telling you, that's what I get back. I remember a CFO that I was coaching, and I read it. And we were waiting for the person to finish it. And I told the in-house lawyer, I'm like, did you read it? She's like, read it. And I'm like, and she goes, worthless. I'm like, worthless, right? Because you have to, it helps to do it yourself. So I'm not against the 360, but I don't mind if the client wants to save money and they want to do some things themselves. I have no problem, but I need substantive information, or else, it's very difficult. Because here's the thing, one of the first the question that I ask when we start, and it's morphed a little via Zoom because I never used to do anything virtually, but the first question that I ask the person is, why do you think you're here? Mm-hmm. Because I want to know that they're aligned with how the company views things, right? So that's very important. And, if I have enough detailed information, I know when I can call, excuse my language, BS, right? Like, and I get hired because I'm very direct. I know you find it very shocking having known me for so long, right? But I'm kind, I'm very kind, but I am direct. And you just have to be. So when you ask that and you want to make sure they're aligned, I'll give you a very quick example if I can, because this is one of the funniest things. So I get the letter that the company wrote to him after the investigation. These are 3 words. Every single person who sees this video and attends the conference has met this person or one like it. Okay. 3 keywords: condescending, belittling, demeaning, right? Like we already know, like this person. So I read it. So we get on, hi, how you doing? Why do you think you're here? He gives me his long explanation. And then he says, by the way, I want to let you know that, compassion is a core value of mine. Now, had I been drinking out of your big mug, I would have like spritzed like over the screen, right? And I just looked at him and I was like, no. I said, have you met you? Because I read the letter they sent to you. Notice I'm talking softly now, right? Very soft. I read the letter, condescending, belittling, demeaning. I said, let me help you align how you see yourself with how others see you. Right. We had to, like, there was no way I could just dance around. Oh yeah, compassion, it's a great value. So glad. Like, no, like we have work to do. And like, no. I had a CEO too. The minute he and I met, we connected. I mean, we just like aligned with so many things. About halfway through our first session, I just said, gotta call BS. It's like, people don't talk to me that way. And I said, I could have said the full word, but I abbreviated it. And I said, because I don't have the time for that kind of game. Right. And I know where you're going with it. And I'm here to help you. And he's like, I get it. I mean, do I do that all the time? No, but like you have the tools that you use to say.
Right. And I do the same. It's like, I often say, look, I'm here to be totally honest with you. And so that's what I'm going to do. And same types of conversations. And they need that because they're used to working their way through things, being charming when they need and that sort of thing.
Of course, because they become successful. So that's what they do. But it's being direct. So, and, weaving in the leadership piece, I find, it's really important.
Yeah. Well, there are several coaching tracks. at the conference. I've been working on the agenda. So Allison, I'm looking forward to seeing you again and giving you a hug, and looking forward to hugging and seeing anyone who's watching this video, San Diego in September for the International Association on Workplace Bullying and Harassment Conference. And we'll see you there.
Great. Can't wait.